So I'm joining from Coimbatore.
Ma'am, you're joining us
Yes, sir, I'm joining
from where? Which city?
Coimbatore.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Great. Uh, we'll begin, ma'am, if it's okay.
Yes, sir. We'll begin, sir.
Great. Um, Good evening. A warm welcome to all those who are joining us today on this edition of Amrita Cafe. As you all know, through Amrita Cafe, we aim to sort of generate discussions around topics, areas that have been raising a lot of questions. A good discussion always increases the dimensions of everyone who take part in it. I'm Dr. Shauri Kutappa, and I'm an academic manager with Amrita Institutions. At Amrita Vishwa, we aspire to join hands with institutions, parents, and guardians to provide value-based education and mold the character of the younger generation through a system of wholesome learning. According to a recent UN published report, the COVID pandemic and its aftermath has created a large disruption in the education industry. It's affected parents, guardians, and students in almost 190 countries. Like I said, Amrita Cafe aims at serving as a forum to table some of these challenges which might have come up during these years and maybe even before. And if possible, to explore solutions on how we can cope with this situation. Via Amrita Cafe, we aim to provide insightful information to assure transparency in and around education. I'd like to introduce today's panelist, Ms. Bagyalakshmi, who's joining us from Coimbatore. Ma'am, a very warm welcome. Do tell us a little about yourself and your institution.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to everyone. Actually, it's my great pleasure to join this Amrita Cafe. Really, first of all, I would like to thank Amrita for conducting a lot of programs like this and making us a panelist where we get an opportunity to express our opinions. So, thanks to everyone. And I'm Mrs. Bagyalakshmi Srinivasan from Coimbatore. I'm working as a principal in Sindhi Vidyalaya Matriculation School. To start my journey, I've joined in a boarding school some 25 years back that is known as Sachidananda Jyoti Niketan, which is located under the foothills of Nilgiris as an English teacher. And from there, my journey started, and I was working as a French teacher for quite some time. Then my student has started a school. I've become a principal of the school. Then nearly for a few years, I'm working as a principal. And in some of the reputed schools, well-established schools, I'm working as a principal. Right now, I'm in Sindhi Vidyalaya Matriculation School, which is located at Velandipalayam. And to talk about Sindhi Vidyalaya, it is entirely different. We know well, all of us, that schools are mushrooming in each and every corner. And if you see this Sindhi Vidyalaya, definitely I would say it caters to the need of the people, those who are really underprivileged. And happy to say you that the school is sponsoring so many children and so many of them. It's a 30-year-old school, and so many children have become. They have, I would say that they have become great personalities after being in the school because of the discipline and the academic guidance which has been given to them by the teachers. So really, I'm very happy to work in the school. And similarly, I think we are planning to make this to a different level. We are because all the educators, all the management members are so visionaries. They have got a lot of experience and they are visionaries. So the school is scaling the great heights. I'm very proud to be a Sindhian principal.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. For those of you just joining us, welcome once again. In this capsule today, we are going to invest the next 30 minutes on looking at the importance of life skills, education for students today. A recorded version of this webinar will be available on the Amrita Cafe YouTube channel. Ms. Bagyalakshmi, who's here with us, will throw some light on what it means for students of today. What life skill actually means for students of today. In the discussion today, we will try to explore what life skills means and how do we address these in today's context. We would love to have your queries on the topic. You're welcome to share your perspectives as well for discussion as the session unfolds. Based on the time at hand, we will endeavor to include as many of these queries as possible. Please do include your names as well. Ma'am, getting right into it, then I'd like you to, begin by, elaborating on what life skill actually means.
Yes.
How would you elaborate on life skills?
Yes, it's a fantastic question. While there is a concentrate debate is about the modern curriculum, I would like to throw some light upon the life skills because the world is becoming very competitive. The competitive edge is very high among the students, and all the students have to acquire a certain basic skills, which is very mandatory for them to lead their life in a smooth way. So normally I'll talk about beyond books. The children or the students, whether it is a school student or a college student, beyond they have to go beyond their books and they have to acquire a certain set of skills which will help them to shine in their life. And if you ask me what are the skills required for a student, whether it's in school or college, that is like the ability to adapt. And the meaning of life skill is ability to adapt and the positive behavior. I'll put it in a very simple form, simple term. One is ability, the child student should be able to adapt anyway, and they should have a right and positive behavior. That is called life skills. And they must have the courage to face everyday life. And there are a lot of skills. I could say that first one is like psychosocial skill. Psychosocial skill is nothing about the mental well-being. So when the mental well-being of a student is in the right manner, everything goes off well. So for that, they should have the ability to face, or normally they'll come across a lot of problems every day. The daily problems and the daily issues, if they know how to resolve them, then that is a biggest skill. I that is the biggest skill which will help them to prosper or manage their life every day. And for example, even every day we used to see, even schools, the small issues, the petty issues, when they do not know how to resolve it, when they grow older, they do not know how to take decisions. So the psychosocial competency is very much essential. That is the first important life skill. And second, interpersonal skills. Well, nowadays children don't have a socialization. Earlier, if somebody comes home, immediately the child would go out, they will welcome the guest, and the hospitality will be entirely different. Now, each one is sheltering in their own room and they are just with their own mobile phones. And if you see, the hospitality or the interpersonal skills are lagging behind. So the interpersonal skills is socializing. So the same is implemented in the classrooms too. When they are in the classroom, they wanted to be aloof. If there is group activity, they fail to take part in the group activity. The teachers will be conducting a lot of group activity or pair activity, whereas the children, they don't know whether they have to take part, or even if they take part, the involvement of the student will be much lesser. So the interpersonal skills it has to be taught right from the childhood, even at home as well in the school. The school plays a very vital role. So I've seen a lot of students, those who had good interpersonal skills, when they go to college, they take up the responsibility. Any program is conducted, they will come forward, they will volunteer themselves, they'll conduct the program. And same thing, and again, the next step is when they are facing the interviews, they'll be fearless. They'll be able to face anything. because the interpersonal skills are so strong with them, anything is possible for them. So interpersonal skill is a second important skill which is required for the students. And third is about the decision making. Decision making. When you see the decision making, even small things they do not know, this or that. Especially they have a problem after completing 10th standard. When they go for living, whether science stream or commerce stream. And they after completing 12th standard, when they go for college, this course or that course. Either they'll choose by peer pressure or because of the recommendation of the parents, or just someone would have said they will join the course, and finally their passion will be different and the course which they have taken is different, and they will finally land up in some other job. That is happening every day. So the decision making skill should be taught to them in the schools, and it should be incorporated in the curriculum, and a lot of challenges should be given to them. More than the classes should be, it should not be teacher oriented, it should be child oriented, and a lot of, even for class 1 student, grade 1 student, they should ask them, they should give them the independence, or they should be given the liberty to do the activities, and they should question. So when they question the teacher, they will get the confidence and they will start thinking. Only when they start thinking, they'll be able to take a decision. So this decision making skill should be incorporated right from grade 1. So that is very important life skill. And fourth one is problem solving. Problem solving, if you see, they should know if any problem arises, first they should identify the problem. What is the problem? They should know how to identify the problem. And there should be some lot of potential solutions should be there. A lot of solutions should be there. First step is identifying the problem, and second one, potential solution should be there, and third, they have to choose the best solution, and fourth one, they have to find the result of that, and fifth one is the review of the problem. So these methodologies or these strategies are quite important for a student. When we teach them in life, whether it is studies or their personal life, it will be very useful for them. So, and the fifth one I think is critical skills and creative skills. Critical skills, it's very, very important, because when a problem arises, there'll be a person who will be giving an immediate solution. We'll call it as in a put it we'll put it just normally we will say in a very simple term, it is called presence of mind. If any problem arises, immediately they should know, they should not react, they have to respond for the problem. So when we teach them how to respond to a problem, then the critical thinking has been implemented or it has been applied over there. And though if you see in CBSE syllabus or in other syllabuses, they have a lot of questions. Now they have high order thinking questions have been given to them in the examination hall, which kindle their critical thinking, and they have to give the answers to them. But still, it can be the lessons or the question papers or the exams can be of more. The more questions can be added to this kind of question, so that all the children will be able to think about it, and they'll be able to come out with the proper decisions. And creativity, like when critical thinking is there, definitely creativity will be there. Critical thinking and creativity combined together, so the children will have the creative mind. So rather than, for example, just I would like to give you a small example. More than theory classes, the practical classes can be given to them. For example, how to make a tea. Instead of the teacher telling them, fetch a glass of water and just put a boil it and add a spoon of powder, rather than saying that, when the appliances are given to the children and when they try on their own, they learn how to do it. And they may take different tea. We may think only one type of tea, whereas they may have different ideas. You can see different types of teas have been made. So there, the creativity of a child has been it has been displayed. So a lot of chances has to be given to the children to express their creativity. And next one, communicative skills. When education, according to me, is nothing but expression. When a child is able to express himself fearlessly, that is called education. I'm not going for big definitions for education. Education is nothing but expressing oneself fearlessly. So when a student is able to express himself, and he'll get all the answers, and he'll be able to do anything and everything in the class as well outside the class. And they should know how to build a healthy relationship with everyone, with the teachers and with the parent and with the peers and with the all the entire environment, either in the school or outside. A healthy relationship should be maintained. Every day we used to come across certain children, they'll be a little short tempered, they cannot get along with each other. So this kind of say more than maybe they'll be so good at academics, but apart from academics, these skills only will help them to lead their life. So even for example, I have seen a student, he is extremely good at academics, but he is very short tempered, and he'll pick up a quarrel with everyone, always squabbling with others. So in the bargain, he is not getting any help, or he is not maintaining a good relationship, or he is not maintaining any healthy relationship with his peers. When he enters the college, the same thing will continue. And when he enters a job too, he cannot mingle with his colleagues. So when he cannot adjust with his colleagues, naturally he has to quit the job, and he'll become jobless. Though his academic performance is highly good, though his all other qualities are extremely good, when he do not know how to maintain a healthy relationship with his peers and with his teachers and with the people who are around him, really it matters a lot for them to maintain a good relationship with everyone. That has to be taught in the school. And empathizing, and sympathy and empathy, it has got two different meaning. Sympathy is feeling pity for the others. Normally that we could see every day. Everybody will feel, if for example, if we come across any, or if we happen to see a person with any beggar or anyone on the road, we'll have the sympathy. But empathizing is putting yourself in the shoes of the others. So this is very important skill, and that has to be learned, because in this current scenario, even very recently, I have read in the newspaper, when somebody met with an accident, immediately everybody is going with the mobile and they're taking the photograph. So, so rather than going like this has to be taught to the children, that you have to go and help them. You should not take a photograph, or you should not take a video. You have to help them immediately. So that is known as, you have to put yourself in the place of the others, and you have to help them. So there's a beautiful saying in English: the word, the lips that praise are more, the hands that helps are holier than the lips that pray. So similarly, the children should learn to help others. So I feel these are the, and leadership skill. Finally, leadership skill is very essential. So when they have all the skills, naturally they'll have the leadership skill. And leadership skill is nothing but just leading the team. It's not authoritarian leadership. They should know how to get along with the team, and taking the team along with them, and they must have a vision, and they have to go for the success. So these are the very important skills, life skills, which has to be learned in the school curriculum, as I said in the beginning, beyond books.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to acknowledge one of our guests and thank them, Miss Shashi Rekha Mitra from Indus Valley Public School, Lucknow. Miss Shashi Rekha Mitra is joining us from Lucknow, and she's been sharing a few points, I think, which have already covered: critical thinking, problem solving, analytical skills, decision making skills. Thank you, ma'am. Just wanted to acknowledge your message, Miss Mitra. Thank you so much for joining us. Ma'am, I think we got a very nice broad view of life skills and in some way the benefits as well. Uh, I just got thinking, ma'am, how are life skills, how were life skills different 40 years ago when we were, growing up? Do you really see a difference, or would you say the life skills at core are the same? It's just the environment that's changed.
Yeah,
Because if I may add a sentence, if I may lay down the context, uh, in discussions that we've had around, around our circles, most of the time we see that life skills, the common perspective that we're getting is that life skills generally are the same across years, across generations. It is just the environmental context that sort of, may be different. Your thoughts, ma'am, your thoughts.
yeah. So it's a really a very nice question, because 40 years ago, uh, I remember these qualities were a bit higher. We had life skills, but now, earlier, we were not giving much importance for curriculum. We were giving importance for values. So even still, I remember uh, I had my scripture classes when I studied in St. Joseph's convent. We had the scripture classes where scripture classes were given more importance than the curriculum, than the everyday lessons completion. But now it's a rat race. So everybody is behind curriculum and completing the portions. So in that bargain, we are just failing to we are I'm sorry to say this, we are failing to inculcate these habits. I'm not saying completely we are just lagging behind, but still importance has been given less, so the significance has become or diminishing. So we are supposed to give a lot of importance for the value education. 40 years back, if you see all these interpersonal skills, we were socializing. Even if we were not socializing, our teachers will never leave us. They will just make us to join with the others. And even with the teachers also, we had a good rapport with all the teachers. And parents used to come to the school. They had, because our parents were not working parents, every day they used to come. They meet the teachers and they will just ask about a performance of each and every child. And so the connection was very strong those days. And in everything, emotional stability, I could see that. I was talking about the psychosocial skill is the emotional imbalance. I don't think so we have any emotional imbalance very much. Maybe in the adolescent period, because adolescence period is known for is stress and storm. Definitely those periods everybody would have had, but not like today. But other than that, the emotional stability, instability was very less. Emotional stability was very strong. And the joint family system, because the broken family system is the main reason for all this emotional imbalance also, because or everywhere we could see the shift of the family structure, because the families have become very nuclear, or they only father, mother, and the child, and everybody, the children were pampered. So there is no chance for the child to learn the emotional, how to express his emotion, or how to learn the emotional stability. Because when so many of them, so many members are there in a family, they learn to adjust with each and everyone. But it is a need of the hour, because the time is changing. We cannot blame that, but at the same time, these skills has to be imparted in the school.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. In fact, I think basic life skills like managing a house for 2 days.
Yeah.
I remember I was in a discussion with in another discussion where this example came in, and a lot of people felt that 40 years ago, as children, if our parents left us in the house for a day or two, we we had the skill to manage the house.
Yes.
you know
Obviously.
Today the context seems to be very different. There are there are instances where you cannot leave your children at home because some of them don't know how to sort of
Manage
operate
themselves.
the gas, or other basic things about how the house runs. So in that context, ma'am, then what are these very obvious and significant skills, which we feel are important for school students today?
Yes. So actually, when I was working in the school, previous school, our management, I told you, the management was they are very broad-minded, and even one of the members, he was talking to us, and he was saying like, we have to teach the children the basic skills like how to put up the light. If there is any problem arises, they do not know how to put up a light, and even simple things. We used to call that occasional skills. Occasional study is it was a part of a curriculum earlier. I'm not very sure whether we have that now. And occasional skills has to be taught to them, and even small the plumbing work and the electrical work. If anything fails at home, they do not know. They become immediately panicky. How to put up that or how to fix the problem? They are not aware of it. So even we should have a class, or at least one period has to be. It has to be allotted in each school, and it has to become a curriculum, because they should know the basic skills. Only when they know the basic skills, are, as you said, how to manage a house, that will help them to lead a peaceful life in later stages, because they may be good at all the other things. Maybe they'll be good at their work, they may be good at their academics, they may be very well off, but these small skills, if they do not possess, I don't think so. It will become, their life will become meaningless. And a lot of occasional skills have to that importance should be given to them, and it should be a class, everyday class. They should have, like they have the physical education period. Similarly, it should also can become an extracurricular activity for the schools as well, for the colleges, and that has to be done. And in one of the schools in Uti, they have 1 year finishing school, where after completing their 12th standard, I'm very happy to mention about that in Good Shepherds. They have 1 year finishing school, where after completing the 12th standard, the students will be taught how to manage their home, as you were mentioning about it. The how to manage their home, how to cook, and how to do all their daily work. Everything has been taught to them. So similarly, one class has to be allotted for them. So their life will become very perfect and a systematic life. They'll be able to lead a very systematic life.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Could you tell us, just for the benefit of the audience, and could you tell us a little more about vocational skills and, if possible, vocational training? You know,
Yes. Decades ago, I'm not very sure now we have much courses. We had even I've been after completing my 12th immediately. Normally, we'll go for this typewriting classes. Typewriting classes was one of the classes, and there's a shorthand classes. All those classes have vanished now, I think, and there's no need also. But likewise, those days, one skill, at least one skill, we should be very proficient. Those days it has been taught to us at least one skill we have to be highly proficient, so that that one skill that definitely will help. I know many of them have written their exams, and they have passed out, and they have joined good jobs, all that, because that skill has helped them. Now we have multiple skills, so many skills, but the children, we have to educate them to master at least one skill. They can learn everything. They are going for the music class, they are going for dance class, and so many skills they are learning. But halfway through, they are up to certain classes they will go, and after that they will just discontinue the classes. And after years, and after a few years, they do not know what skill they have learned and what is the use of it. So they can learn all the skills, but at least for example, if they're going for some instrumental classes, if they are learning piano or any instrument or veena, whatever it is, they should become very proficient. Dance class means they have to become very proficient. So likewise, one thing, one skill, they have to master it. And occasional classes, as you asked, so this kind of things, as I mentioned, a lot more skills are there. Occasional training, they give this sewing, stitching classes. Even I still remember, even if you ask any of the student is to stitch a button, if the button comes off of his blazer or from the shirt, if we ask him to stitch the thing, he may not know how to do it. So, but in our period, I would say they were the basic stitching they were teaching us, and many of them have mastered that. Even some of the boys, I still remember how they were doing all that. Not even girls and boys, both of them have become mastered the thing. They know how to stitch it and how to fix it up. So these those it's a very small thing. Small things makes perfection. Perfection is not a small thing, but small things make a lot of perfection. So these are the skills. Still, I remember the stitching classes, and there's electric for boys. I feel that not only for boys, even for the girls, as I said, that fixing up that electricity, and if any problem arises with the bulbs or with any, even at home, any of the home appliances, if it goes wrong, they should know how to fix up the problem. And this plumbing work, if any facet or anything opens up, we do not know how to do it, and we have to run for some other person, and we do not know immediately. So these kind of things definitely. And carpentry work also, pottery, these are the occasional skills. I've been to a place, and I saw the school is extremely doing well in all the skills of pottery. I saw so many children sitting together, and they were making a pot, and the carpentry skill has been taught to them. They were carving a lot of beautiful things out of wood. So these skills are very, very essential. Though, and moreover, their involvement will be much appreciable, because you can see the difference in the classroom. The classroom, when they have their books, and I'm not against the books, but when they have the books and the other things, and more than that, their interest will be there. So both has to be, I mean, it has to go hand in hand. When we are teaching this, it has to be practically, they have to gain knowledge about it. So both has to go hand in hand.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. I
That's
would like to, yeah, I would like to interrupt. Sorry for the interruption. The
please, ma'am.
school is Sayadri School in Pune.
Okay.
Sayadri School in Pune, beautifully, and they have got the freedom to move around. And even I saw some of the children were climbing up on the trees, and they were sitting. And to my surprise, I saw a fourth standard student. She was just referring the library books.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. That's a lovely bird's eye view into the kinds of life skills or life skill activities that can be incorporated into our daily lives or the daily lives of students as well today. Yeah, very, very interesting. In fact, I recall learning how to stitch in school when, some of it. I remember this instant where we were asked to stitch buttons on a handkerchief. And since we couldn't,
Handkerchief. Normally, they will ask us to do the handkerchief.
and
We will longing for those periods.
since some of us couldn't do it well, we were told to stitch 50 buttons on a handkerchief. And some of my friends had the skill of, discovered the skill of how to stitch two buttons with one stitch. One in front, one in the reverse of the handkerchief.
Oh,
So,
good.
so a lot of skills started coming into play right there.
No, it will be so funny, because the learning, and they'll do with a lot of interest.
So, which brings me to this, this aspect of critical thinking, which we were talking about some time back. It's becoming it's becoming a buzzword.
Yeah.
It's picking up a lot of momentum nowadays.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little more about it?
Yeah. Now, critical thinking, I just start with a small example. Uh, mm, uh, if any issue happens, they should know how to solve it. That's all. Critical thinking is nothing but how to, what kind of solution they take for the issue. That is critical thinking. Even when there was about to, a small fire. It has happened in a nearby place. There was a short circuit, and there was a small the I mean, I would call that electricity disrupt was about to happen. But a small boy, and immediately he noted down, and he just called uh, the he immediately called the security and informed the person. And because of him, a big damage has been stopped. So the way they react, he did not get panicky, or he did not scream, or he did not run away that moment. He's just some 11 or 12 years old boy. Immediately, he just stood there and looked at the problem. He just thought for a while and reported to the security, and a big damage has been stopped. Otherwise, so many of them would have been electrocuted and something would have happened. But the mishappening has been stopped by his presence of mind. So we have to teach the children any situation, they should not get panicky. They should know how to respond, not react to the problem.
True, true, true. Um, Taking this forward, ma'am, do you think that these competencies that we're talking about, these skills, etc., do you think they should be segregated in some form? Like maybe, for example, certain skills for primary school students, certain skills for secondary school students, and so on. Even the NEP now coming up with 4 different blocks.
Yeah.
Um, would you, would you say that certain skills can be segregated, like for a particular age group or a particular set of classes? Like for instance, the example where we look at finishing school, where
Yeah.
after 12th we actually
Yes.
take some time out and we spend time with students on these aspects of life. So
Yes.
would you recommend something like this at regular intervals of the curriculum, or would you say that after each block, maybe
Yeah.
after second standard, children should have certain skills. After eighth standard, children should have certain other skills. I don't know. These are just examples that I'm throwing up. Your perspective on this, man.
Yes. Yeah. Habits are formed for life. So whatever the habits they learn in the primary level, that comes throughout their life. For example, in all the assemblies, I feel that we have to insist the children that they have to get the blessings from the parents. Because suddenly, when we tell a class 12 students to get the blessings, means he will just chuckle at us, he will just laugh at us, he will giggle. But whereas, if you just say a first standard, a second standard, when the primary assembly is going on, when we insist them to get the blessings from the parents, and they will definitely do it. And we have to tell them why you have to respect your parents, because respecting the parents, they should understand the importance of respecting the parents. We have to explain them with a lot of stories, and the habit has to be inculcated in them. So and monitoring also should be done simultaneously. How many of you have done it? And appreciation should be given in the assembly. So how many of you have done this regularly? So when we appreciate them, they will understand that is a very important value, and that will become a habit then. That will become habit. And similarly, breakfast. And breakfast, many children come to school without taking breakfast. And most of the time we see they don't have any stamina to stand for 1 hour, not even 1 hour. So from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we must make them to stand, because we know well that vitamin D they get when they stand in the sun. So we must make them to stand for the assembly for 1 hour, and they just faint because they don't take breakfast. We have to insist them breaking the fast. That is, there is a long gap. They take their food at night and morning, at least 8 hours gap is there, and they have to, without breakfast they should not come to school. So because they should know the importance of the food also, why they have to take food, and what are the important the nutrient in the food, why it's very important, why they should not skip the food. All that should be taught to them. Prayer. So morning and evening. Actually, Bharatiyar song has to be sung in the schools, I feel, because there's a song, Odi Vilayadu Papa. It's a beautiful song which says about morning, what all he didn't mention the timing, but what all the activities has to be done from right from morning till evening, he has just said in that song. So morning, they have to wake up early morning. Why they have to wake up early in the morning? And prayer, they have to pray in the morning. And cleanliness, And in the evening also, they have to pray, they have to wash themselves. 4 to 5, they have to play. Compulsorily, they have to play. They should not just get sheltered in their home, and they should not play with their gadgets. They have to go out and play. And evening prayer is, again, it's mandatory, because prayer, it gives calmness to the mind. Many children are very restless now, always meditation. So we'll see to it that we just play some song or meditating, very soothing music for them. So they meditate for some time and the mind calms down, and the focus, we get the focus of the children when the mind is calm. So that has to be done in the primary level. They should know the importance of meditation right from the beginning, right from the lower classes. We have to teach them what is meditation and why they have to, because when they sit for 5 to 10 minutes silently, and they get their concentration level improves. So these skills has to be taught in the primary level, and in the upper primary, in the other level, communication skills are very important, and they should know how to, just any problem they should know how to express, or and fluently they should know to speak. Because the problem with them is they may have the knowledge, they may have the latent talent, but because of their express, they do not know how to express it, they miss a lot of opportunities. Communication is very, very essential in this period. We have to give them, provide them a lot of opportunities also. And in the school assembly or in the college assembly, the children should be given opportunity class wise. They have to, suddenly we have to tell them, see, you may get a chance to speak. We'll just throw out, we have to give the topics to them, and they have to pick the topic. And the atmosphere should be like, or the situation should be like, they should volunteer themselves and they have to come forward and they have to speak. So the programs like Toastmasters, I would like to make a mention about the Toastmasters here, which is a fantastic program, and TED Talks, all this should be screened to the children. So they will see, mumbling for words or fumbling for words is not a big crime. They have to mumble for words, they have to fumble for words. And when they meet failure once, then they will gain confidence. One important life skill is confidence too. So when communication is stronger, their confidence level also will goes up. So communication skill and confidence both are very essential in this ages. So likewise, it has to be done. And 11 and 12, those period, they should know about the career. In class 9, I would say the children should know their strength and weakness. SWOT analysis should be done in those periods, because I feel that schools should conduct the SWOT analysis, the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So when the SWOT analysis is done, the insight program has been done, they should know in which subject they are stronger and which subject they are weaker, and what are their own in the characteristics, what are the things that they have to improve. For sometimes for a boy or girl, maybe little short tempered, if the boy or a girl is short tempered, they will understand, yes, I am short tempered, I have to correct myself. Anger, they should know how to control my anger. So that technique they have to learn. So when they learn this insight, when the insight program has been conducted and when the SWOT analysis has been done, they'll be able to diagnose their own strength and weakness. So when a child knows his own strength and weakness, they know which career to choose. So then choosing the career or choosing the courses will not be a problem at all. Maybe when a child has got good analytical skills, when reasoning power, definitely they know that they have to do for this. They know which course they have to choose. So the problem now is they have no idea which course to choose, whether I have to go for science or whether I a science stream or commerce stream, or whether I have to choose this course or that course. So a lot of confusions they have, because it's like they do not know, they have boarded the flight, but they do not know what is the destination. First, before boarding, they should know which is the destination.
True,
They
very
should
true.
know the destination, then they have to board the flight. After boarding the flight, they should not visit the destination. So when they learn all these skills, especially this SWOT analysis should be done everywhere. Right from, I would say, from the age of 12, after that, the SWOT analysis. Everyone should know that what is their strength and what is the weakness. And self-introspection also should be done by the students every day or every week. They should do the self-analysis or self-introspection. They have to do, and they should know where they are, what they are doing, how much time they are spending. Uh, Useful, how much time they are spending very usefully, how much time they are wasting. Every analysis they have to do on their own. So when all these things they do it, they know where do they stand and where they have to go. Everything will be very clear for them, so they will get a clarity where they have to reach in their life. So for this kind of the programs like Toastmasters and TED Talks, all this will definitely, it will help.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Would you say that is there any prescribed text in any of the boards that are on today on this in this context?
Yeah. Yeah, I see. I remember some of the prescribed textbooks are there for life skills, but still, I feel still more along with the normally the along with the subjects, this life skills should be incorporated. Either we can have a separate textbooks, life skill textbooks. A few books are there, but still, as I said in the beginning, little more importance has to be given for life skills, and it has to be incorporated with the subject. So rather than teaching them separately, if it has been incorporated with the subject, I feel that'll go a long way. For example, in mathematics, when they are learning maths, the they should incorporate the importance of money, saving habit, because earlier they had a habit of saving money, but after the arrival of plastic money, the importance of saving is diminishing. Even I have written an article and it has been published in Hindu. Mustard box mummies are changing into mal mummies.
True, true, true.
Mustard box mummies are changing into mal mummies because the saving habit is vanishing now. I still remember my grandma used to keep the money in the coffee powder thing. And if anything is important, she immediately she'll take it from there and she will give it to for the daily expenses. So those days have gone, but still now, if you see the current generation, the saving habit is becoming very less. They use this plastic money, you call it as a credit card and debit card. And when you have money, you know how to spend, you will have a limit and you'll have self control. But when you go with the plastic money, you lose your self control. So I'm not against any of those credit cards or debit cards, but they should know. We have to teach them, or we have to educate them, even that how to use it, because technology is advancing. We have to go along with all these things. We have to travel with the technological advancement, but at the same time we should know how to limit ourselves, how to control ourselves, and how where to give importance, and how to save the money, and how to prosper in our life. Everything we should learn. That has to be educated to the children.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Couple of panelists joining and sharing their perspectives. Mr. Saif Ali, thank you so much for joining. Ms. Santosh Kumari, who's joining us from Jaipur. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Ms. Vidyalakshmi Menon, who writes that CBSE has certain life skills book or books as per the level of classes. And Ms. Shashi Rekha Mitra also shares that they've got some experience. They've been using some life skills books written by Heartfulness Institute. Um, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your perspective here today. Before we sort of close, I thought I'll ask you, if you were to advocate a
Yes.
particular futuristic skill, which one would you advocate? Which one would you recommend?
Yes, my priority would be this psycho-social skill, because I think already I've stressed upon this. Mm, I feel that everyday problems, they do not know how to face their everyday problem, and they have no emotional control. Emotional instability is very much prevalent among the youngsters. So, a lot of unstress management. They should learn to manage the stress. I know in some of the companies, even they conduct before the interview, stress management interviews are conducted, but that has to be taught to them from the lower classes, because they have to manage multiple things. So when they learn to manage organizing skills, when they do not have organizing skills, that leads to a lot of stress. So they must learn. Here, I would like to make an mention about this Sainik school, the discipline. So, so when we certain things we have to be very much disciplined. The self-discipline is very essential. So when they have self-discipline, they will have a very good organizing skill. This organizing skill will help them to manage their stress, because they will not have much stress when they know how to organize themselves in a proper manner. So this skill, emotional instability, because where we come across even for small petty issues, their end of their life and all that, new in many news and newspapers we come across the things. The children, they don't know how to face the failures. So we have to teach them to face the failures. We have to have some hard and fast rules for them, because so much of pampering is leading them to take very unpleasant decisions in their life. So to avoid that, emotional stability, I feel that as a psychosocial, interpersonal skills and emotional stability is very, very important for their life. So that has to be given priority. In future, life is going to be a little more, it's going to be faster, and it's going to be very stressful. We have to learn to manage the stress. So they should know how to manage stress and how to be emotionally balanced. They should know how to enjoy their life. Enjoying life, everyone is very much stressed now, but they fail to enjoy their life. Stress is a part of our life. We must learn to accept it. When we think it is a stress, it is a stress. But when we learn to enjoy the stress, it becomes a thing. So we have to teach them how to manage multiple things, multiple skills they have to develop. Like how they are developing the multiple skills, they should learn to juggle with everything, and they have to develop multiple skills and without affecting their emotional instability. They should be emotionally very stable, and anything comes, they should know how to handle them. So without any disturbances, without any perturbed mind. If they manage the things, I think that is the greatest skills, and definitely they'll be successful in their life.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. A real pleasure having you here for this discussion. Um, Dear panelists, as I mentioned earlier, Amrita Cafe aims at serving as a forum to table challenges and explore solutions to cope with the current education scenario. Please do write to us at Amrita. Contact details will be made available along with this video. We would love to hear from you on areas that may be included in forthcoming sessions of Amrita Cafe, where we aim to provide insightful information to usher transparency in and around education. I'd like to close this forum by thanking all of you for your presence and your views, which will be compiled. Ms.
So
Bagyalakshmi,
1 second, I would like to interrupt. Yes, sorry for the interruption.
yes,
If regarding life skill, there is a lot of journals that have been published by many authors, and it's available in the net. And they can go through it, and it can be implemented in schools as well as in colleges.
thank you, thank you. I was just going to invite you, ma'am, Ms. Bagyalakshmi, for
Yeah,
one. I would like to thank you for being
thank you.
with us here today, and I was going to invite you for any concluding thoughts which you might have. Yes, very, very, very strong. This thing, there's a lot of information available online as well as offline. There's a lot of content available at the Amrita Vidyapeetham Learning Resource Center as well. Some of it online for teachers, principals who are registered online with us. I'm sure you're already aware. There's a separate section which for the teacher for the educationalist access. There's a separate section which contains a lot of material, a lot of information on this as well. I cannot close without thanking the rest of the group that makes Amrita Cafe possible. Miss Bagyalakshmi, you've already been interacting with some of the people who are behind Amrita Cafe. I would also like to mention Miss Parvati, who has made things as seamless as possible this evening. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you once again. Do have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I thank from the bottom of my heart to the entire team and for conducting such a wonderful program. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening.